Nick Reiner was officially charged in the deaths of his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. And concurrently, we have some updates on the Luigi Mangione suppression hearings, where we learned about Luigi getting audio and video recorded in Pennsylvania without a lawyer present. And Pennsylvania is a two-party consent state to record. So I'm going to break it all down right now, starting with the latest on Rob Reiner and the fact that his son was officially charged in the homicide, the double homicide of Rob and his wife, Michelle. This is LA Magazine's Pop Culture, Scandals, and Crime News podcast. I'm Lauren Conlin. LAPD held a press conference today and essentially went over the fact that Nick Reiner has been officially charged in the deaths of his parents. I took notes and put them on X earlier today. Oh, and I want to quickly just say something else really fast. Yeah, because when I recorded yesterday's podcast, at the time, it was confusing because Nick was actually being held on a $4 million bail. And it was shocking to a lot of people. And I kind of was like, oh, maybe it's because he doesn't have a criminal history, etc. No, it was later revoked and he is being held without bail. And I have a feeling that he is going to be held without bail until his trial, as he should be, in my opinion. Everybody deserves due process, but he seems really like he is a danger to himself and possibly to others. So again, before I get to the DA's press conference today and LAPD as well, I do want to point out that it was announced by the LAPD yesterday, which was December 15th, that Nick was the person of interest or the suspect in the homicide of Rob and Michelle, and that his case would be presented to a grand jury on Tuesday, December 16th. So it was presented to a grand jury, clearly because they came away with the double homicide charge with special circumstances because it was 2 red rums. And Nick was actually due in court for an arraignment today, but he has not been, quote, medically cleared. So he didn't make a court appearance, and he also already hired a hotshot Los Angeles attorney, Alan Jackson, who most recently defended Karen Reed in the red rum case against her for the killing of her Boston police officer boyfriend, and she was found not guilty. So Alan Jackson is a total bulldog. And when I saw him walking out of court, TMZ played this clip, and you know, he basically was indicating that, yeah, his client was not medically cleared. I was kind of thinking to myself, clearly they're going to play the mental health card. They're going to play, you know, the fact that he was mentally ill. However, some more details have surfaced that he checked into a hotel at 4 a.m. on Sunday evening, which, you know, we can call that Saturday night. So if we don't know the details, but if he killed them before he checked into a hotel, that would mean that he had the wherewithal to flee the scene and understand that what he did was wrong. So I don't know if, again, it's still very early, but I just don't know if it would hold up in court where Alan Jackson could say, oh yeah, he was having a mental break. I mean, you know, whatever, who knows? But let me pull this up. Just some of my notes from the press conference where the official charges were listed: 2 counts of first-degree red rum with special circumstances alleged under California law for multiple red rums. The coroner is still working on the time of death. They clearly don't want to reveal that because that would be telling us too much. LAPD and the DA's office won't reveal any additional details of the crime. Press asked about any weapons found and whether Nick Reiner appeared to be under the influence. And they reiterated that these are the most serious charges the DA can bring against anyone, and that the case will proceed along the same track as any other first-degree red rum case, not fast, but thorough. They won't reveal any information the family provided to them. Nick was arrested without incident after being approached by officers near Exposition Park, and they said that he did not try to flee. The DA won't share when or how the red rums occurred yet, or where the weapon was found. They said that will be revealed in court. And they also said that the fire department was on the scene first and that police were called afterwards. And this answer was given in response to when press asked who made the 911 call. So they were being very elusive, very coy, did not want to give any more information than they had to. And I'm trying to think. Oh, there I have my notes, but I like to look up into the sky when I'm contemplating what I'm going to say next. But no, there were reports that surfaced that said that Saturday evening, the day before the bodies were found, Nick was seen arguing with his father at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party, as well as Bill Hader, the actor, apparently. Onlookers also said that Nick was wearing kind of like a sweatshirt when everybody else was very dressed up at the party. When he checked into the hotel, which was the Pierside Santa Monica, at 4 a.m., spectators said he looked like he was a little tweakish, I guess, but they said that he didn't have any visible injuries, any blood, nothing like that. But the hotel staff said that blood was found in his bed the next morning, or his bed sheets. So, we'll see what's going on. I mean, I feel like we're not going to learn much more until probably after the arraignment, when documents are posted to the LA Superior Court website. I've been checking and I just couldn't find anything. But there is a case number. When a grand jury here's a case, there's a case number, and it probably changes for the arraignment. I'm not exactly sure with LA County off the top of my head, but I will be back with that information and a case number, hopefully with documents that we can review soon. But let's pivot and just closing the loop on that. God bless Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner. Truly, my heart goes out to their family. I hate sometimes when I'm talking about this stuff, it kind of doesn't come off as sensitively as I would like, but I am trying to give you guys facts and details. So just forgive me and bear with me. I know the severity of all this and how hard this is to listen to. So yes, with that being said, let's go into Mangione today, day 8 of testimony in the suppression hearings. And we heard for most of the day the custodian, or the evidence custodian, Officer Featherstone of Altoona PD. He was being questioned about inventory versus evidence, the fact that he didn't necessarily inventory everything. He just sort of counted, not counted, sorry. He made sure the evidence envelopes were correct, that they were accurate. And he labeled these envelopes and he signed for the chain of custody, but he didn't cross-check to make sure, everything was there. That wasn't part of his duty. So he was kind of grilled for that. He was grilled for not entering things into a computer. And he said, well, there's no reason to track this because all of the evidence that we had bagged up went straight to the NYPD for their case. And a moment in the morning for the defense was they saw an evidence envelope that was labeled homicide. And Agnifilo was like, so there was a homicide on December 9th? And he's like, no, I didn't write that. Again, if you are new to me updating everyone on the suppression hearings, the defense is trying to get the backpack, the search of the backpack, as well as other statements and the contents of the backpack. They are trying to get that suppressed for the trial because they feel like Pennsylvania police searched it and obtained everything unlawfully. They want New York search and seizure law to apply here, and the state wants the lax Pennsylvania search and seizure law to apply. So the last part of the day, we had an NYPD officer on the stand, a Detective Leonardi, who ended up disclosing to us that during cross-examination that Luigi Mangione was moved into some it was like I guess like you can call it an interrogation room, but it was equipped with audio and video. And he did not know he was being recorded. And he asked for a lawyer. They left the room, the officers, and he was still being recorded in the room when they left. And Pennsylvania is a two-party consent to record state. So Mark Agnifilo was kind of like, were you aware that, if this was legal, if this was lawful? And the answer from Leonardi was, well, I was with ADA Seidemann, so he was with me and advising me, etc. And there was a short break, or I should say a short, the lawyers approached the judge, and then when they were finished, they dismissed Leonardi from the stand. And Agnifilo said, I've just received word that the DA is going to omit Mangione's interrogation statements. So they, dismissed the witness. He stopped the cross, and there was just a moment. So it sounds like there was definitely a hiccup, and those statements that were made during this interrogation that was recorded would definitely have been thrown out, either clearly before the trial or during the trial. They definitely wouldn't have been allowed if Mangione had asked for a lawyer, was still being recorded without his knowledge in a two-party consent state. So that was sort of like the bigger news of the day. At this point, I still think it could go either way. The judge could choose to suppress certain things. He could choose to suppress nothing. I have no idea which way he's going to go. Literally not a clue. Because again, I just feel like I have heard the arguments on both sides, and both arguments are good. So I know I'm useless when it comes to that. That's why I'm not a lawyer. That's why I'm just delivering you the news. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching and for listening. I'm Lauren Conlon. Don't forget to subscribe or like this video and this channel, because I am here every day with your pop culture scandals and crime